Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest. It's not every day that a company's share price rises over 100%. But that's exactly what happened to a company called Dimerix. Their share price rose 154% on the 5th of October 2023. And to be honest with you, whenever I see a company's share price rise by over 100%, in fact, even just 50%, I will take a look at that company and the particular announcement that caused excitement in the market. Sometimes I look at the announcement and go, the market's overreacting. And sometimes I will delve deeper into the company. And that's exactly what I've done with Dimerix. Now, Dimerix is a biopharmaceutical company with a portfolio of drug candidates for inflammatory diseases like kidney and respiratory diseases. They're currently focused on developing its phase 3 product candidate called DMX200, which is for FSGS kidney disease. I won't try to pronounce what FSGS is because I'll completely mispronounce the words within that. They also have another product called DMX700, which is for COPD. Now, I won't talk about the science behind these particular drugs because when I read it, it went straight over my head. And if I try to explain it, I'd probably completely mess it up. Now, my introduction to Dimerix was actually back in 2020. In fact, the 14th of September of that year, when Dimerix released this particular announcement that caused a little bit of panic in the market, and the share price actually fell 63% to 17 cents. In fact, leading up to this announcement, the share price of this company had been high as 75 cents. And when you look at the title of this announcement, there's nothing to fear there. Dimerix reports positive phase 2 study results of DMX200. So remember, the company is focusing on developing this particular phase 3 product. So this is phase 2. So in the title itself, there's nothing to really be scared of. But if you go to point 2 of the key points section, you see why the market reacted negatively to this announcement. No significant difference between treatment with DMX200 and placebo across full patient cohort. So again, share price fell 63%, and it's taken 3 years for the share price to recover. When I read Dimerix's announcement on the 5th of October 2023, it actually reminded me of another announcement released over 5 years ago by Neuren Pharmaceuticals. Now, I am a current shareholder of this company. Back in 2018, I was not a shareholder of this company. And it's really funny because there are a lot of similarities between Dimerix's announcement and this announcement from Neuren Pharmaceuticals. But Neuren Pharmaceutical share price fell significantly, which is in complete contrast to Dimerix. But you understand why I see some similarities between these two when I go through these two particular announcements. So this was in regards to an announcement, an exclusive license agreement between Neuren Pharmaceuticals and Acadia Pharmaceuticals for the North American development and commercialization of trofinetide in Rett syndrome. And if you know anything about Neuren Pharmaceuticals, you know that Neuren Pharmaceuticals has made it. This particular announcement was sort of the harbinger of what was to come for Neuren. However, share price fell a lot on this particular day. I'll talk about that later in a second. Now, why did I find there was some similarities between this announcement and what I'm going to show you with Dimerix's announcement on the 5th of October? The first one was an upfront payment. So Neuren to receive $10 million in upfront plus potential milestones of up to $455 million US and royalties. I'll talk about royalties in a second. So now let's have a look at Dimerix's announcement that was released on the 5th of October 2023. Now on to the announcement that caused a lot of excitement. In Dimerix, share price rose 154%. And this is a fairly similar announcement than Neuren Pharmaceuticals. This is also an exclusive license agreement between Dimerix and, in this case, Advanced Pharma. And it is an agreement to commercialize DMX200 in Europe, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. So different geographic regions. So Acadia and Neuren Pharmaceuticals was in relation to United States. This is in relation to Europe, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. The other similarities is the upfront payment and potential milestones and tiered royalties. So Dimerix receiving 10.8 million Australian dollars in upfront payments, plus potentially up to 219 million Australian dollars in potential milestones, plus at tiered royalties, which I'll talk about in the next section. So fairly similar announcement than Neuren Pharmaceuticals. The only difference is reaction from the market, which I'll discuss during the rest of the video. And now to the royalties, which is, I think, very important. You have to know the type or the scale of the royalties to really get an understanding of how much money both these companies could get from these exclusive agreements. So first in the blue is Neuren Pharmaceuticals tiered royalties, and then down below is Dimerix, and they're very similar. So Neuren is eligible to receive tiered escalating double-digit percentage royalties on net sales of trofinetide in North America, while Dimerix is eligible to receive tiered escalating mid-teen to 20% royalties on net sales of DMX 200 if successfully commercialized, which is a very important point. And the whole reason I'm actually comparing Dimerix to Neuren will become clear later in the video when we see what has happened to Neuren Pharmaceuticals since 2018 for those who are excited about the future of Dimerix. Now, even though this is a video on Dimerix, I just wanted to compare the potential patients of this trofinetide for Neuren versus Dimerix DMX200. So if you add all the potential Rett patients throughout the world, we only have, say, about 50 to 60,000. Now, the average net price per patient is $375,000 US dollars per year. So that's a lot. And then also got the tiered royalties, mid-teen to low 20% in Europe, Japan, and other 10 to 15% in the United States. Now let's have a look at the potential patients for Dimerix DMX200. And there are significantly more potential payments for Dimerix. Now that doesn't necessarily mean anything because we have to know the price or potential price of DMX200 when it does hit market. But we are talking about approximately about 300,000 patients worldwide, maybe even more than that because this is only looking at US, EU, UK, Japan, and China. So significantly more potential patients, but it's only the price. I would expect the price of DMX200 to be significantly lower than trofinetide that Acadia is already selling in the United States. So why am I looking at Neuren Pharmaceuticals? Well, the current market cap of Neuren Pharmaceuticals is $1.5 billion. Yes, $1.5 billion. Now, they are much further along when it comes to commercializing their drug because it's been commercialized. It's being sold already. So they have received a fair bit of money from Acadia and will start receiving, probably have already started receiving royalties. But remember, this announcement, this initial exclusive agreement between Acadia and Neuren Pharmaceuticals was 5 years ago, and now the market cap is $1.5 billion. Now, back in 2018, the market cap of Neuren Pharmaceuticals was just above $100 million, which is relevant. Why? Well, let's have a look at Dimerix market cap right now. And Dimerix market cap is actually less than $100 million, $83 million at 20.5 cents. I just looked at the share price right now. It's fallen from 20.5 cents to about 18.5 cents. So down about 10%, which means the current market cap after trading has ceased for the day on October 12 is now $75 million. So if everything goes right for Dimerix, and when I say everything goes right, it means phase 3 will have to be successful and then they can commercialize the product and then sell it for a good price. There is a lot of potential for this company moving forward, but it's still going to be a long road. So a long time between now and when they get the first money from the sale of DMX200. So it could be 5 years from now, might be even longer than that, maybe 3 or 4 years, but definitely the road is still long from now to when Dimerix realizes their potential. Now, I've already talked about the different reaction or the contrasting reaction from the market when Neuren Pharmaceuticals released their announcement in 2018 compared to Dimerix. In fact, the share price of Neuren Pharmaceuticals fell by something like 40 or 45%. Now, I wasn't really following Neuren Pharmaceuticals really closely at that point in time. Even though I have been following the company for over 10 years, I was just waiting for the significant announcement, and that was phase 3 results, which came in 2021, late 2021, if I remember correctly. And in fact, the share price soon after the release of this exclusive announcement fell to $1 in August of 2018. And do you know what the share price of Neuren Pharmaceuticals is right now? I'm just going to Google it. It's like, let's have a look. Put it into ComSec. The share price of Neuren Pharmaceuticals right now is $11.29. So you could have bought Neuren just after this announcement for $1. So this is a 10 bagger. In fact, it's an 11 bagger since mid 2018. And if we take a look at Dimerix chart, this is the daily chart over the past, we'll say 16 months or so, the share price was actually in the downtrend. So the share price had fallen all the way down to about 6 cents, or just less than 6 or lower than 6 cents back in June and July. And then the share price, of course, rebounded strongly on the back of this particular announcement, increasing 154% in one day, and has kept on going up from that particular day. Not only that, share price is now at a multi-year high, which is very important, because if it was like at a 2-month high, you'd have a bit of resistance. Those shareholders who had bought in high prices in the past have seen that opportunity to sell out. Not only that, massive volume has come in. So all those shareholders who have bought into Dimerix over the past 2 or 3 years at higher prices than now have had the opportunity to sell out. And maybe there has been sort of a cleansing of the shareholder registry, and we have a lot of new shareholders on the registry for Dimerix, which is only a good thing moving forward for this company. And this is the weekly chart for Dimerix going, actually this is the daily chart for Dimerix going all the way back to mid-2020, because you can see the share price actually got to a high of just over 75 cents just before the release of that announcement in September 2020. And the share price has been drifting lower ever since then. But again, the share price now is at a multi-year high. And when I say multi-year high, the last time the share price was over 20 cents or around 20 cents was way back in the start of 2022. That's all I have for this look at Dimerix and the reason why the share price of this company rose 154% in one single day. If you have any thoughts about this company, any questions, just leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.